Good day and welcome to Alena Media TV. We are broadcasting from Canada. I am Elsa Abraham, and in this episode we are bringing you African news. Here is your headlines. EU imposes sanctions on Eritrean agency over human rights abuses. And Eritrea also says EU sanctions on security agency are malicious. And in our next story, unknown number of people killed in ongoing violence in Oromia Special Zone and North Shewa Zone. And in our last story, Oromia police arrest OLF's PR bureau head. His driver both didn't appear in court. Let's go for a quick break. When we come back is our news in details. Stay with us. Welcome back from that short break. The European Union imposed sanctions on Eritrea's National Security Agency, citing alleged human rights violations. The National Security Office is responsible for serious human rights violations in Eritrea, in particular arbitrary arrest, extrajudicial killings, and forced disappearances of persons and torture committed by its agents, the EU said on Monday in its official journal. The sanctions imposed on the agency, which is led by Major General Abraha Kassa, include a travel ban and the freezing of funds belonging to the entity and its head. Eritrean Information Minister Yemane Gebremeskel didn't answer to questions seeking for comment. In our next story, Eritrean says that the EU sanctions on security agency are malicious. Eritrean authorities described European Union sanctions targeting a security agency on Monday says are malicious and charged the EU with having ulterior motives. Eritrea was one of the 3 African nations subject to EU sanctions announced on Monday for alleged human rights violations, including killings and enforced disappearances. The others are Libya and South Sudan. The Eritrea sanctions targets the National Security Office, including its leader, Major General Abraha Kassa. In its official journal, the EU said that the National Security Office is responsible for serious human rights violations in Eritrea, in particular arbitrary arrest, extrajudicial killings, and forced disappearances of persons and torture committed by its agents. The EU's new sanctions system is similar to the US Magnitsky Act, Obama-era legislation that authorized the government to sanction those it sees as human rights offenders, freeze their assets, and ban them from entering the United States. Eritrea, one of the world's most secretive countries, in response called the sanctions offensive. The EU has no legal or moral prerogative for its decision and has merely invoked trumped-up charges to harass Eritrea for other ulterior motives, said a statement published by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The statement also accused the EU of holding without citing evidence of doggedly and working to save and bring back to power the Tigray People's Liberation Front, a party in Ethiopia that once dominated power there and whose soldiers are fighting alongside government troops in the embattled Tigray region. The EU has particularly targeted Eritrea in a futile attempt to drive a wedge between Eritrea and Ethiopia, the ministry's statement said. Soldiers from Eritrea are reportedly helping Ethiopian government forces in the Tigray War, which started in November when Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed sent troops into the region after an attack there on federal military facilities. Fighting persists in the region's rural areas, even as Ethiopian authorities insist that the situation on Tigray is returning to normal. The US has urged Eritrean troops to come out of Tigray, where abuses include reported massacres, rape, and enforced disappearances. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken characterized some of the atrocities in Western Tigray as equal to ethnic cleansing. Ethiopia said the allegation was unfounded. And in our next story, unknown number of people killed in ongoing violence in Oromia Special Zone and North Shewa Zone. Amara region as worrying functions trade blame. Reports on an ongoing conflict between Amara residents backed by the Amara Special Forces, the Liu Haley, a claim by the Oromo witnesses and Oromo residents of both Oromia Special Zone and North Shewa Zone in Amara Regional State flooded special media over the weekend. The number of victims and injured are yet to be specified, but graphic pictures allegedly from the clashes have been circulating on social media. The conflict was first reported on Friday, March 19, 2021 night, and according to sources on the ground that spoke to the media, is still ongoing. The violence saw the burning down of religious institutions, as reports have been suggesting something that the media was unable to confirm through North Shewa Zone Peace and Security Bureau head, Abera McKinnon, who said that a mosque and a church have been burned down in the Ataye as a result of the violence. I can't give more details as investigations on the matter are still ongoing. On March 21st, the Amara Regional State issued a statement through the Facebook page of its Communication Bureau, where it acknowledged the occurrence of violence without specifying the number of dead and injured, and blamed the violence on the Oromo Liberation Army, often referred by the government as OLF or the Shene, and remnants of TPLF. The statement read that the regional government will launch an investigation into the violence, get information on the human cost and property damage, and make the information available to the public. The statement also offered condolences and promised to bring perpetrators to justice. We would like to inform the regional government that it is deeply saddened by the loss of life and property caused by the clashes in the Jale, Tumuga, and North Shewa Zone of the regional state, and will bring to justice the perpetrators of this heinous crime and all their accomplices. Our people must stand by the government in order to prevent attacks by the TPLF and the rest of the people in the area that were attacked. Attacks took place and in other parts of the region. Sise Damtik, the head of Peace and Security Bureau of the regional state, corroborated the statement by the Amara Regional State and explained that the violence broke out after the shooting of one individual. He didn't specify the nature of the attack, but went on saying that the attack is carried out by unspecified armed groups. He said that additional militia, special forces, and federal police were deployed to the area as of Saturday, March 2021. The Peace and Security Bureau urged the community to stay patient and vigilant and promised to issue an update as to who is behind the conflict and the amount of damage caused. However, Hassan Hadiya, a resident of Kimesi, who spoke to the media, tells a different story. According to Hassan, the violence started after Amara Special Police shot an individual in front of the Grand Mosque in Ataye after night prayers, Isha. He said the conflict started 4 days ago. It started on Friday night and it's still ongoing, especially in Kemise town. It started in Ataye as a result of Amara Special Forces shooting an individual at the doorsteps of the Grand Mosque there. When he was asked about the number of casualties and injuries, he said the conflict is still ongoing and there are a lot of reported casualties. I can't give you an exact number, but it is very high. There is a severe damage to properties. A whole compound of houses were burned down. There is damage to farms, vehicles. He explained that the clashes between Oromo residents and Amara Special Forces are not new and have been a recurrent sight for the last 2 years. He added that Oromos have always suffered in this region. The attackers merely because we are Oromo. He concludes that we heard there are similar attacks in North Shewa. What I heard is 2 injured were taken out of the ambulance and shot at close range. I have no way of confirming that, but that is what is reaching us here in Kimesi. Now, moving on to our last story for today. Oromia police arrest OLF's PR bureau head. his driver. Both didn't appear in court. In a statement released on its official Facebook page, Oromo Liberation Front has announced that Bate Ugesa and his driver, Wondosun Abdulkadir, were arrested by the Burayu Police, Oromia Regional State. Bate was arrested while visiting colleagues detained at the Burayu Police Station. As of the late, Bate has been very vocal about the involvement of the National Electoral Board of Ethiopia, the NEBE, in the party's internal affairs, as well as the government's heavy-handed crackdown against the party, leading to the arrest of his fellow members and the party's subsequent withdrawal from the upcoming election. Lami Gemechu, a member of the OLF, told Addis Standard that the reasons for the arrest of Bate and Wondesen is not yet known. They were denied access to a defense lawyer. The pair have been appeared in court since their last arrest on March 20, 2021. This is where we end today's episode on African News. Please like, share, comment. Let us know your thoughts on this particular episode. Thanks for watching.